What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Tell Me More podcast presented by Major League Success. And I'm excited for our next guest. We got Jake Whetstone with the Whetstone Home Group at eXp Realty. Also part of the eXp Military Network Leadership Group as well. I'm excited because, Jake, when did we first connect? 2 years ago?
We connected at an NAEA boot camp.
That's right.
About a year and some change ago.
Yeah. You came down to Columbus when we put that on, and I've been connected ever since. That's awesome, and I'm excited because I got to kind of see your journey into the business grow over that year and a half, and I've heard bits and pieces of the story, but I don't really know the full story of how you got into the business. And that's what this podcast is all about. It's all about, sharing stories, success stories, failures. And, the goal is if there's someone out there that can relate to you, that can relate to your story, and that they can see that there's actually a path to success, and they can connect with you, that's what I'm looking to do, right? I'm a big believer, and that there's hundreds of ways to build your real estate business, and success is the definition that you give it for yourself.
Yeah.
So, but let's jump right into it. I always start with the past. I always start with growing up. I typically over the course of me doing this and interviewing other agents, I always typically find that there's something that's happened in the past that is a big influence, some way, somehow, on their real estate career. So, Jake, what was life like growing up when you were younger?
Yeah, man. So I am from a very small rural farming town in Florida called Chiefland. Historically, it's where Native American chiefs would meet. They called it Chief Land, and that's how it was formed. So growing up, very rural. A lot of small town stuff. Anybody who's been in a small town knows what I'm talking about. I played like 85 different sports because our high school was all of like 12 people. So I found my life, young adult life, quote unquote, or teenage life, playing sports, football, basketball, baseball, tennis at one point, track and field, weightlifting, you name it. We did it. So, so growing up very rural. And it's Florida, so
I'm surprised that you had that many sports.
Oh man, listen, that was one thing. My school is very big on sports. There's nothing else to do in my hometown. Like there's a Walmart, and that was a giant improvement to my town. Other than that, there's nothing going on. So sports keeps the town running.
Where at in Florida? What part?
Yeah, so Gainesville, if anybody knows where Gainesville, home of the University of Florida Gators, is my team, my alma mater. We are about 35 minutes to the north, southeast, west of it, towards the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay. All right, cool. So grew up playing sports, graduated high school. Were you always an entrepreneur when you were younger, or
no? I was not always an entrepreneur. So high school, I graduated early from high school. So I say back then, I'm 32, so I'm still young. But back then, when I was in high school, I actually went and took the state testing to get out of high school. So I could join the military. So, for me, from a small town, like I said, Walmart is the biggest, employer there. So I was not satisfied with getting out and going and just working some, 9-to-5 job. I thought the military was gonna be super cool. My dad, grandfather, all these people have been in the military before me. And so I said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to graduate early. I had to have my mom sign. So weird to go into a recruiter's office and you're like, yeah, I'm going to become a man. And you're like, hey, mom, I need you to sign my paperwork for me because I'm only 17.
Hey, it's the last signature for you to become a man.
Yes. Yeah. I need that man's signature from a woman. So, which is, listen, my mom's a special human being. So love her to death. But yeah, so I took the state test, tested out. I was like, I'm out of here. I'm out of this small town.
Yeah. Was that kind of was that kind of the conversation your family had, was military college, or like my parents, it wasn't like, oh, you have to go to the military or you have to go to college.
Yeah.
Kind of more of like implied, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, these are, one of the two, right? I don't think they would have been upset if we just went straight into the workforce either. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But it was kind of like, hey, if you're not really thinking college, my sister and I both went to college, and my brother, he went into the military. And so was that
Yeah.
kind of a conversation piece in your family, or?
Yeah. So, my family was not very wealthy. We're very lower middle class, I'd say. My mother, to this day, has worked the same job. So she works as, and Napa, it's called Napa Auto Parts.
Yep.
My mom has worked for Napa for 28, almost 29 years. So almost my entire life. So, she's not making a ton of money. My parents split up at a very young age. So she's a single mom for a very long time. My stepdad kind of came in the picture later in my life when I was a teenager and already in, middle going into high school. So, it was a big struggle for us. So it was definitely, hey, you have to do something with your life. It's funny. I was not very studious in high school. High school was boring for me, intellectually speaking. I felt like I was way ahead of the curve, and I became like that jokester, prankster kind of guy. I looked really good in high school, so I was really skinny and fit, and I played sports, and I was the kicker for the football team, so the kicker is always the crazy guy. So for me, I was not worried about am I going to pass algebra? Am I going to pass geometry? For me, that was not an option. I was just going to go to work or do something with whatever menial task in my life. The military was a side thought. I had never thought about it as an entrance into life, right? Like how to get a job and all these other things. I just thought of it as, it's getting me out of Chiefland, so let's do it. I'm good. Mom, sign my paperwork. I'm out of here. So was never a primary thought. It was always a secondary.
Yeah. So you go into the military. Kind of lead us up to military, and then up to the point of getting into real estate, because I know you have a couple different things that you've went into, and different careers and things like that. Kind of lead us up to the moment of getting your license.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay. So jack of all trades, master of none. So I joined the military. I became a combat medic. I never originally wanted to be a medic. That was not my cup of tea. I had never dealt with medicine before in my life, or human bodies for that matter, like having to deal with another person and their life. That was not my original plan. I signed up originally to be what I'm sure the name has changed now, but it used to be called a psychological warfare specialist. That was what I originally went for. I scored super high on my ASVAB. I could pick any job I wanted. I was going to, I could get a security clearance, all that good stuff. So I was like, hey, I'm going to take this like cool sounding job and do that. That did not work out. That training was a year out from when I signed up. And I was like, no, like I need another job. So a very gracious older gentleman at MEPS is what it's called, where you do your entrance processing, was like, all right, well, we'll give you another job, but you can only pick from this list. And medic was on the list. And this was 2007, getting into that surge in Afghanistan. And so medics were extremely needed. And I said, you know what, I'll do it. I'm going to go work in a hospital. I'm going to be super cool, get my little scrubs and walk around and, just help people like get from point A to point B and just be, a hospital person. So I get to medic training, which has a very high attrition rate. I didn't realize that, I did basic. Basic I felt was difficult just because I had gotten so used to being on my own as a quote young man, and not being told what to do. So being told what to do every second of your life is a wild swing from rural America. So that was new for me. But passed basic, got into AIT, is what it's called. Went to medic school. Medic school was eye-opening. I had never seen blood before. So like I'd never had to do anything hospital-wise.
Right.
Like personally, never seen blood before. I passed out. First time I saw them drawing blood from somebody, hit the deck, just done. I'm out. I almost got kicked out of the Army because of it. Thankfully, they're like, hey, we need medics, so you're gonna have to learn to live with it. So went through medic training. That was 4 months long. And then I had some other like specialty schools that I went to and stuff. Got to my unit. I was stationed in upstate New York. Funny story, side story. I'm from Florida. No. Well, so I'm passed and everything. Got it. That was my first duty station. But I got sent home after AIT for hometown recruiting, it's called. So I spent 2 weeks in Florida, just basically BSing with friends. And, I got a plane ticket. They buy you your plane tickets to fly to upstate New York. In my head, I had only ever been to New York City when I was young. Yeah. And so I think of New York as New York City. And so I didn't realize that there's a ton of New York that is nothing but cow farms and rural life, just like what I'm used to. So I kid you not, we flew up to Albany. So that's where my big plane, like the commercial plane, flew me to Albany. And I hopped on this like Cessna that was going to fly me to base in Watertown, New York.
Yeah.
So I hop on the Cessna and I'm flying over, and we're pretty high, I feel like, for a Cessna. And I don't know why, but everything on the ground looked like sand. And I was like, damn, there's a lot of sand. Ooh, I didn't mean curse, but there's a lot of sand in New York. I'm like, why is there so much sand? And I'll never forget, we had these headphones on and a little mic. And the woman up the front right of me said, oh, honey, that's not sand, that's snow. Mind you, I'm in a like tank top, shorts, and flip-flops because I had just got off a flight from Florida.
Yeah.
So mortified. I've never been in snow except when I was a very tiny kid and didn't remember it. So
up there, it's a different. My dad lives in Chameau.
Yes.
So I've been to Watertown. I think just a handful of times because obviously that's the closest. City, right? For Wisconsin stores, but yeah, that's a different type of snow up there. They should have like eased you into that. Like,
oh no, there was no easing. It was just
no snow to like 2 feet in 24 hours.
Yeah, it's like going from Florida to like Siberia in flip flops and shorts. So it was definitely a shock. Getting off they land that little plane on the tarmac. There's no like ramp. Like this is just some like little. I'm surprised the plane made it, right? Like it's just a little plane. I got off in flip-flops. I'd never walked on ice or snow or anything. And for whatever reason, it was very icy right at the entrance, like trying to get from the plane to this one X-ray, one metal detector type airport with a single TSA officer. So trying to get to there, I kept slipping and falling. I had a duffel bag. I ended up sitting on my duffel bag and scooting myself to the door because I had busted my tail like 5 or 6 times. People were cracking up laughing at me, and I was embarrassed, but at the same time, like, I'm gonna make it. Like, like I just got a basic. I'm young, I'm fit, and I can run 12 miles, holding my breath. So I'm gonna make it across. I don't care what these people think.
Yeah. So
that was my culture shock. So got in the military, had a great time. I loved being in the military. Loved the guys I was with. So I started out obviously as a medic. Ended up getting to a point of being a senior medic. I was in charge for a little bit. It was a big group of medics, basically. Deployed to Afghanistan. That's a whole other story. But deployed to Afghanistan. Did my time there. Got back. I was married. Then got divorced while I was in Afghanistan. The typical soldier gets taken for a ride story. And then got out. When I got out of the military, that's when like life hits you. The military is very shielded, very guarded. You've got a place to live. They give you a paycheck the 1st and the 15th of every month. You will never want for anything because there's a place to eat, a place to shower, a place to get clothes. So when I got out, I was like, holy Moses, like real life hit me hard. So I bounced around at first. When I first got out, I had some money saved up. So I took this, like, I call it the national tour. I went to like Wisconsin. I went to every state that I possibly could get to, either at the time in a little tiny BMW I bought, or then a motorcycle that I decided was going to be way cooler and very Top Gun-ish to ride a motorcycle everywhere, except when it rains. That's horrible. It was the only vehicle I had. So no helmet, by the way. So it's like just sunglasses, raindrops hitting you in the forehead at like
Just
90 miles an hour.
in the pavement.
Oh man. So I did that and decided, hey, like I did some weird jobs. I worked for an architect for a little bit, doing blueprinting. I've worked for cable companies. I've worked for all kinds of stuff, just doing odd jobs. Decided I'm going to go back to school. I wanted to go to nursing schools. I was a medic.
Yeah.
I figured out that I had GI Bill, which I did not know about when I got out. I don't care. They kept it a secret for the longest time, it felt like, for me. So got out, went back to school. And during like my prereqs for nursing school, I found paralegal classes. And I'm like, oh, being a lawyer would be fun. I love arguing with people. This would be great. Like, let's do this. So I went and took all these paralegal classes and got a little associate's degree or certificate or whatever they call it, to be a paralegal. Then decided, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to go back into doing nursing. So went back to nursing school, did that. That was so much fun. And during that process, I got a job at the VA. And so they had this program. It's called the ICT, the Intermediate Care Technician Program. And it was a pilot program. They had allocated millions of dollars. When they spend all this money, they allocate millions of dollars to do these pilot programs. And so there were, at the time, I think 20 of us across the nation who got hired in this program. And basically it was like, hey, welcome back to the government, buddy. We're going to let you be a medic again. We're going to let you do all this wild surgical stuff and all this crazy amounts of stuff that we let you do in the military that probably you could not get away with in civilian life. We're going to let you do it again here at the VA. So here's your badge. Here's your scrubs. Here's a stethoscope. Welcome back. So I did that. I ended up creating a PA program, a partnership program with Yale, which was that is a whole nother bucket. Bureaucratic creation of programs with private institutions or public institutions is a whole nother ballgame. Did that, started working towards my PA. And it was nice because I did it while I was at work. All my studying and stuff is all at work. Seeing patients, all my didactic, all my clinicals at work. So I did that for some time. And then ended up I've worked in the ER or acute care for my entire career. So that's what I continued doing, working emergency medicine. And then, we bring that all the way to the pandemic. I decided, not anymore. I'm burned out. I'm on divorce number 2. Like, can't do it. Like, I got small kids now. I just can't work, overnight and then, so many hours later go work the day shift.
Yeah.
So I decided I got to do something else, At the time, like I said, I was getting a divorce. I'm paying lawyers' fees. I'm paying tons of money out every month. I'm like, I need to take a side job. I thought I was going to go back to school, like get a doctorate and, I'm going to make it in life and do something crazy. I didn't have any GI Bill left, according to the VA. So I needed some way to pay for all these classes and took a job back with the cable company that I originally started with. So I was moonlighting with them like a couple days a week. And when I had time, basically. Yeah. And that's how I ended up finding out about real estate and EXP all at one time, was because my mentors, who I now have an office with, their internet went out. And so I had to go out there to fix their internet. And that's how I found this. So
it's crazy. It's crazy how, life works like that sometimes.
Yeah.
You just never know. Like, I joke, when agents are like, well, how do I build businesses? I'm like, literally, you could go to a restaurant or a bar every single day and you can meet people every single day. I think I counted like a couple weeks ago, 7 of our 32 agents are from the bar space. Our admin that's been with us, Ashley, who's been with us practically since day one, Ryan met when she was the bartender.
Nice.
And it's like, and people in that space, it's you ask them, hey, what's your future like?
Yeah.
And most bartenders, waitresses, servers, they don't want to do that when they're 60, 70 years old, right? Yeah. So it's like, okay, hey, if I can show you a career that can, get you out of this and do something else. And so you just never know.
Oh yeah.
Who you're going to run into that's going to, change your life. And I would say it changed your life.
Oh yeah. I mean, can you imagine? And listen, everybody thinks it's hilarious, but I'm like, Can you imagine going from I literally was doing this. I was going from like almost on a daily basis at this point, like doing cardiac arrests or, intubations, suturing somebody who cut their arm open or something, doing all of these things to working on cable, and all the people I worked with, like the first agent I ever brought in EXP was my old supervisor at Spectrum. And he thought I was nuts working. So he's like, dude, you could do so much more. You have all these licenses and degrees and all this other stuff. And I'm like, I can't handle that right now. Like, I'm burned out in that section. I needed something to take my mind off.
Yeah.
Who would have known that arguably crazy path that I took would lead to where we are at now in real estate? I would have never in a billion years guessed that. I would have thought today I would have still been doing both those jobs. I'd have been probably at some online school trying to get a doctorate and putting a thesis together and arguing all these things. And here I am in real estate. My mentors, they laugh at me all the time. They're like, who knew that internet going out and you working some piddle paddle side job would get you to where you're at today? So anything's possible. Like I say, whether you're a bartender or a nanny or cleaning houses, doesn't matter. There's always some path that's going to open up that's going to take you to the next level.
Yeah, you just got to keep looking, right?
Yeah.
You just got to be open-minded. And I think that's, when I hear your story and your journey, I think, like I said, that to me, I can always find something that has helped you into your career. And I think from what I just heard, it's you were always open-minded to looking at other opportunities and trying different things.
Oh yeah.
Right. And figuring out what you liked and what you enjoyed and what you didn't. And you were okay with leaving that. And some people would view that as a failure, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of us are afraid of failures, right? Based off of other people's opinions. And I think for you, it ultimately allowed you to find something that you enjoy and that you're good at. And, I always ask, why did you get into real estate? What was the reason that made you want to make that jump into this business?
Yeah. The height of the pandemic, I call it, 2020. Pandemics hit. Everything at the hospital is ultra regulated. You're wearing like 58 masks and 75 body suits and PIP gear and everything else. So, you have all this stuff going on. And like I said, I was already burned out. I'm going through a divorce. Now a global pandemic hits. Obviously there's that fear, like, am I going to die if I catch, this substance? Like, when Ebola came out, everybody's like, oh man, like, shut the country down because somebody had Ebola. And like, obviously it's bad, but you don't know it at the time, right? Like, you don't sense it until you really start get in it. So for me, I just had gotten to a point where I was honestly fed up with where I was at. I was tired of literally working 24/7, it felt like. And I needed something that at least at the time I perceived, gave me some flexibility. And like I said, I had met my mentors, Jackie and Ryan Bowman. I had met them just working on cable, working on a stupid internet router. And I saw what they had going on in life, how they were doing things. And I'm like, this is where I should be right now. Like, where they're at in their life, I should be there. And I need to get there today. Like, done. I got to get there. And so they just kind of give me some background info on how to get into real estate and all this other stuff. So, I'm a disabled veteran, so I have a disability, and they have this thing called vocational rehabilitation. So I had made an appeal basically to the Veterans Benefit Administration, which is very funny. But and basically, hey, I want to leave this amazing government career and go do real estate, and I want you guys to pay for it because I don't have any GI Bill left. And so I had to go to like meetings and get like director level kind of approvals to get switched into a 5-week course on real estate. And blows my mind that they ever approved it, to be quite honest. I thought this was a long shot. I'm going to have to pay out of pocket. They approved it. I went to class. So this was in June. So I I kid you not, I literally went to the hospital, resigned. So when you are work for the VA, you are appointed into the VA. It's like taking commission, taking an appointment. So I had to resign my appointment and out process that. I quit my job with the internet folks and just took all 4 classes in 5 weeks and just smacked them out of the park. And obviously COVID made things really slow, and then I submitted for my test, and that was it.
I'm laughing because Wolf of Wall Street's one of my favorite videos or movies, and I can just picture you at their house, and you're like, "Show me your check," and I quit today.
Yeah, basically, it sounds crazy, but I literally I told them I apologize if I feel intrusive or if I'm overstepping something here, but I just want to give you a background of what I do and where I'm at in life and where are you at. I need to be there. And I need, I was 30 at the time, had a great career, horrible personal life. Like, I have amazing kids. My kids are literally everything. But, I have an ex-wife where I'm like, I can't deal with this human being right now. And I need a change to give myself something. So literally, show me the checks. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, Jackie and Ryan Bowman are fantastic people and great mentors. And if you guys are looking for people to reach out to, those are 2 great people. And I got to get to know them over the last year and a half or so myself. And I was just, when you were telling that story, the Wolf of Wall Street, when he's sitting there, he's like, "You show me a check." I forget what the number was in the movie, but I quit today.
That's what it was like.
Jake's like smashing the router. He's like,
like, "Hey, I'll get your internet up, but I need a phone number. I need a contact." That's it. That's how I got. And I don't know. It's not a very eventful story. It's a very crazy, off the wall way to get into real estate. But I wanted what they had, and it was like a light bulb went off in my head. Like, dude, what are you are wasting life and time in a job you're never going to get past a physician. You're never going to get past these things. You're always going to be stuck in the same pay cycle, and you're never going to have freedom. You're always going to be under somebody else, and they're always going to be telling you what to do. And I'm like, it's not for me.
And lifestyle is one of the things that I talk to agents a lot more now than ever before. And it's, what lifestyle do you want to live? You can make, $1 million in this business and live that lifestyle, and you can make $50,000 a year in this business and live that lifestyle. And, for me, when I'm talking to agents and coaching agents, it's like, which one do you want? Because that's different, those are different lifestyles all the way around. And so when you got into the business and you got the approval, to get classes paid for, did you have doubters, supporters? I like asking that question because obviously hardly anyone ever comes straight to your face and be like, "Oh, you're not going to make it." But, I find some agents, they use either one of those as the fuel that they need, to get going.
Oh, yeah. My own mother thought I was nuts. I love my mom to death, but my mom is a very big realist. Like, she is not the imaginative, let's shoot for the moon kind of person.
It's small town mindsets, right?
Yes.
I grew up in a small town, same as you, and it's just small town mindsets. And obviously our parents put you off, but our parents just in general want to make sure that we're successful and do and you go from an established job with pay to what do you mean you're 100% commission?
Oh yeah. As I said, my mom, I love her to death. But my mom, even my grandmother, my gram, they are very blue collar, you work until you die kind of people. And so when I tell my mom, "Hey, I'm moving jobs," in her mind, she's thinking, "Oh no, like, where are we going now? Like, you've worked so hard to get this job. You've been promoted. You moved across the country to get there. You are making way better money than I could have ever imagined that I would make. And, why are you doing this now?" So my mom is very skeptical. Obviously she wants me to be successful.
Right.
And, I told her, like, I know one day she's going to get super old and I'm going to have to take care of her or do something. So I think in her brain, she's thinking, like, you're all I've got left. Right. my stepdad and her, they're eventually going to get old and they'll need help. So she's probably like freaking out at this point. I mean, she was good at controlling it a little bit, but I could tell just from the way she said things. She's very like, this ain't gonna work. Like, you are not a real estate agent.
Going into a pandemic too.
Yeah, like you've never sold anything in your life. Like, what are you talking about? So yeah, and the world's ending around us, So very skeptical. Like I said, and this sounds bad, but I'm not from Ohio originally. So I didn't have friends. I didn't have family. My ex is from here. Her family's here, but I don't talk to them. So I had nobody but two small children who were, at the time, my youngest was maybe a year old, right at a year. And my oldest was like 5 years old.
Yeah.
6, maybe 6. So, I didn't have anybody like, hey, go for it. You doing it? Yeah, you're fucking man, blah, blah. Like, it was literally like my mom saying, this is going to be like a horrible trip down, a bad path, and a dog and some kids. And that's it. So finding Jackie and Ryan, that's what I tell them all the time. Like, just them saying, yeah, you could do it. Like, pop on it, go for it, was a huge boost to me. I tell everybody this, but I live on that like hype energy. Like, I need that Tony Robbins jumping in the middle of the aisle kind of thing. I need it, right? Like, that's what I need to survive and keep pushing forward. And so, leaving a great job and going to the next 5 weeks of my life doing nothing but real estate, and learning, and then getting my license was, there were not many people in the peanut gallery cheering. So it was definitely a change in life for me.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, I had 2. That's all I need. I got those 2. So my kids obviously were just like, whatever. Like, I don't even know what we're talking about right now. Like, dad's doing something. Yeah, go dad. Like,
yeah.
So man, I didn't have many supporters. That's for sure.
Let's dive into the career. Any initial struggles, success, instant success. Kind of talk me through. I guess it's been 2 years now, a little over 2 years.
October will be 2 years. So during the pandemic, I finished classes in July.
Okay.
Applied end of July, August, but between everything being backed up and all these things they have to do, I didn't actually get licensed till October of 20. So in October, go ahead. Sorry.
I didn't even know that. So in January, when we had that event, it was only like 2 months.
Oh yeah, I was brand. Like,
did Jackie and Ryan tell you to come to that event?
Yeah, they made me. They say they gently asked me to go, but Jackie basically is like, you're going. Like, I'm throwing you into the fire. But I think they understood. Even in the military, you're taught a lot of resilience. You're taught, you have to adapt and learn very quickly. Your job, especially mine, everybody's life depended on my job. So I have to adapt and be very quick at what I'm doing. So I am very able to be thrown into the fire and I'll survive, right? Like, I'm burn proof. But I mean, when we met at the NAA boot camp, I literally was out the gate brand new. So in October, when I joined, I joined EXP in November 15th of 2020. I spent about a month at Coldwellbanker because at the time I didn't understand how brokerages and that stuff worked. That was a new thing for me. I had just signed up with the first person who said they'd sign my paper. So that's what I did. Jackie and Ryan were like, oh my gosh, like, come here. So they pulled me over. But so November 15th, I switched over. I immediately jumped into YouTube trainings, whatever I could do, Jackie and Ryan, obviously, to learn anything I could because I needed deals. I had gone from June to now November with zero income. I had zero savings, broke as a joke, which my mom was like, told you so, like, told you so. So I was like, hey, I need deals. I need money to come in and I have to learn, and I have to learn right now. I don't have any other choice but to go up or get through this. So I did a couple partner deals with Jackie just to kind of learn the ropes. And then I pulled a couple deals of my own. So November 15th, I switched over, and probably by November 20th, I had at least 4 under contract. So I just basically said, hey, give me everything. I don't care what it is. Throw it at me. I'll read it. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I will do it. And I need to get stuff done. So yeah. So December, which I think I went to the NAA boot camp, in January, I think it was.
Like the second week or something, the first week of January or something.
Yeah. By that time I had just closed 4 deals right out the gate, and had other deals under contract. So, but I mean, that's what I said. NAEA, the boot camp was the first event I had ever been to as a realtor, like a licensed realtor. And I was like, man, like this is like crack. Like I need this, like this kind of hype, this kind of like engagement and people and friends that I made. Literally everybody I know in real estate right now, currently, stemmed from NAE boot camp. I would not be friends with half the people I'm friends with if I'd never went to that event. So yeah,
I tell agents all the time, go to events.
Yes.
Whether it's a local mastermind or somewhere in a different state, you just never know who you're going to meet, what conversations you're going to have. Obviously, the content's going to be great, right? Yeah. You're going to the event for that, but you know, it's the conversations and the people that you meet, you know, in the hallways, you know, grabbing a pop, you know, grabbing a drink later at night, you know, grabbing dinner. And here's the thing. It may not lead to anything for years, but you're building that relationship, and then something may come from it down the road.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's why I say, I tell everybody. So, you know, obviously we have real estate's pretty good. I have a team now in an office, but you know, I tell everybody that comes in or that I talk to, like, hey man, like you have to go to events. You have to mingle with other realtors. You have to make friends. I know there are probably some realtors you don't like, and everybody has that, but make friends. Like this is the only career that I know of where I get to basically go to cool parties with everybody, learn something new that I've never heard before, you know, dabble in various alcoholic activities, and then come out on the other side like better than when I came in.
And literally, Jake takes this to the extreme, because last year he calls me on a Thursday. He's like, hey, I'm down in Columbus at Mitch Prosey's house for his pool party concert. Like, where are you at? I'm like, I'm playing volleyball.
Yeah.
And Jake lives in like Akron, Kent area.
Yeah, it's 2 hours.
An hour and a half, 2 hours just to come down on a Thursday night.
I drove 2 hours to go to my lender's party, at his pool party at his house, just so I could connect with other people and hang out. I didn't even get in the pool. Like I didn't even get in the pool. I'll never forget. They had Chick-fil-A there. They had like margarita slushies and a tour of Mitch's gigantic bourbon room, right? Yeah. And that was it. And I, out of that, met Christian Finn. So he's a home inspector. I met a bunch of different lenders. I met other realtors that were there. And now I have, you know, great relationships with all those people. And it turned into having Mitch as our lender, you know, turned into ad spend, turned into an office, turned into all these things. Even my wife, I'm married now, but my wife worked for Mitch for some time. She's now joining us in the real estate dark side. But, you know, it's like all these things, like just from that one pool party, I can literally trace that pool party to 100 successes that I've had with various people that I met at a pool party. Like where can you go? Like that would never happen in medicine. You're never going to go to Dr. Smith's house for a dinner and be like, you know, oh, you know, 2 months later, you are $100,000 more successful because Dr. Smith brought you over for tea and crumpets that day. You know, like it's never going to happen any other, or I don't care what anybody says. Yeah. So real estate is the only industry where I've ever gone to a party and been highly successful after the party. It just makes no sense, but it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy.
So you get rolling year one. You know, things are on fire for you. When did you decide to build the team?
Yeah. So year one. So, and some people may think this is, you know, small chips compared to some folks, but year one, I did 44 transactions. And Yeah, it's crazy. And what's funny is, so I count transactions as anything I had to deal with. So obviously some that I did with Jackie, I did everything, but they're under Jackie's name.
Okay.
Or I did, a couple referrals, like my brother's house, and helped him with that.
Hey, I count a transaction on if you got paid. That's how I count it.
I got paid 44 times
There you go.
for somebody buying or selling a house.
There you go.
So, for me, I was busy. Like, I was like, holy crap. Like, I'm learning all this new information and I am not an expert just yet, but I am so busy that I can't do it on my own. And so, in November or just before November, anyways, back in the end of 21, somewhere in that time frame, I'm pretty sure actually it was more like June, July actually time frame. I had reached out to who was my old supervisor, Spencer, and said, hey man, like I'm smashing it in real estate and I would love if you get your license and come work with me. We have a lot in common. We're already friends and, I need someone's help. So he sure enough took the leap, got his license, was working part-time. It's funny, I say that all the time. He's working part-time, but he's doing 2, 3, 4 deals a month. So he's part-time while he's working at another job. And then, so that was my team, quote unquote. We weren't like an official team just yet, but worked as a team. And then I think really in November, so September is when I signed the lease for the office. And that's when I had decided I'm making a team.
Yeah.
So September, October, all remodeling the office. And then November, we launched our office. Literally, when we launched in November, I whipped together a team like almost immediately. So by the end of my first year, I mean, I hadn't even hit a year with, in sales, quote unquote. Yeah. And I had 3 or 4 people on my team. And it's been smooth ever since. I mean, it's crazy to think this is my second year and here's where we're at. Like I'm sitting in a brand new podcast room inside of an office that we, built in November. So
yeah,
wild.
Well, that's awesome. What are you on track to do this year?
Good question. So we have our first quarter, we're at 48 is what we threw down, about 9 million in volume. For those in Columbus, that's probably not a lot, but in rural Portage County and parts of Summit County and Trumbull, that's a lot. That's a good chunk of deals. So I'm looking at right now, we're hoping to hit about 140, 150 for our first year, quote unquote, as a team. Yeah. And probably close to 20, 25 million in production for our first year.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I want to move into the future.
Yeah.
And kind of see some of your future plans over the next 12 months. What are you? What's something that you're looking to accomplish?
Yeah, 10 agents.
Real estate, personal, whatever you want.
Yeah. So business wise, in the next 12 months, I will have, not I need or want, I will have 10 agents on our team. I feel like 10 is the magic number for, where we're at. That's just enough coverage for Northeast Ohio that an agent at some point in time can get to a pretty random place. We cover a lot of land here in Northeast Ohio. So we're kind of at the center of everything, where our office is. So business wise, 10 agents. That's what I want on the books. Trying to do a mastermind, developing a mastermind. We have part of our building is not finished being renovated yet. So that's about 1,250 square feet. We're turning that into our new, we call it the Vault. That's what it's going to be called. Sneak peek for everybody here. It's called the Vault. But
it's funny you're calling it the Vault. We have, we nicknamed Ryan's office the RE Vault.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the Vault's a good one. So we're turning that into a mastermind / actual experience area. You can go in there, do all of your learning. We're going to have books, tons of training in there. It's going to be a whole thing. Experiences are a big thing on our team. So it will be an entire learning experience for new or even older agents. So business-wise, that's what I'm looking at. Personally, I'm newly married, got married in April. So we have 6 kids between the 2 of us. So we have a lot of folk. But so we're looking to sell my current house. We have a ton of equity in it. So we're going to sell that, take some of that equity, pull it out. we'll probably rent for a little bit of time. We're going to get some land and build an actual house for ourselves.
Yeah.
So we'll rent for a little bit, but lumber prices are dropping. So I'm like, hey, if we keep doing what we're doing right now, we're making good money, we'll be able to get a pretty sizable house.
Yeah.
We're going to need it with all the kids we have. And to be honest, we just need our own section of the house to like lock the kids out of. So
two wings.
Yeah, we need a wing. Like we need like some mansion type stuff here, or a woods that I could just go hide in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so ideally that's next in my personal life in the next 12 months.
That's awesome. What's the big 5-year goal for you?
5-year goal, 30 agents. I want 30 agents. I want 100 people in my downline. That's my 5-year. I'm at 5, 6, 7 now. Technically, I just brought on 2 folks. So I want 100 in my downline. I want 30 agents. I want 3 offices. So 1 here, our main base in Stowe. This will be, headquarters, quote unquote. I want 1 up north in Cleveland and 1 down south in Canton, so that we cover all portions through the center of Northeast Ohio. And then, hopefully by that point, and the 5-year goal is I'm out of production. I'm doing coaching. I'm doing masterminds. I'm doing training for agents, especially brand new agents. I feel like I got the gasoline that they need. Put it on the fire. I just got to bottle that sucker up. I got to figure that out. I'm not as cool as you yet. I don't have a book. So I'm working that out. But that's my 5-year goal, is to be out of production to a point where each office has its own office lead. That person manages those teams. Spencer, who's my right hand, will probably take over. He will be kind of like what you do right now with Ryan.
Yeah.
He'll be in that leadership role for the overall company, quote unquote. And I get to enjoy life a little bit and, help teach and help train. That's what I love doing. That's what I did at the end of my career in the Army. So that's the goal. That's the 5-year.
I love it. I want to be respectful of your time, and I really appreciate you, Jake, coming on and sharing your journey and your real estate story. But I always end with this question: if you could give our audience one piece of advice, whether it's a new agent, someone thinking about getting into business, or someone that's thinking about building a team, whatever it is, just one piece of advice that you wish you had, when you got started into the business, what would that be?
Yeah. So I actually think I'm fortunate enough that I had this advice when I jumped into business, and I pass it on every chance I get. If you are the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. You need to constantly be growing, constantly be expanding. If you are uncomfortable, you're doing it right. So my piece of advice would be always find a way into that next room, find you a mentor, find you a coach, find you somebody who is smashing, killing it where you want to be at, and stick to that person like glue. Learn everything you can. You will be successful, period, bar none, if you do those things.
Yep. That's awesome. I always tell people you want to be like the little kid latched onto the person's leg, and they're like dragging you with them.
Yeah, like what are the koalas? Is it koalas that like carry their kids with them everywhere they go, which is a horrible life, but they're just chilling out on eucalyptus and they've got like 30 kids on them. So, be that kid, cling to whoever that big fish is, whoever that shark is, whoever that person, when you're like, dang, I need to be right where they're at, cling to them. I don't care. If it costs you 10 grand to get in the room and you've only got 11 grand, pay the 10 grand, get in the room. Will absolutely change your life, period.
Yeah. And like you said earlier, real estate's one of those things where you can go to a party, you can go hang out with other people in the space, and you can come out, wealthier and wiser and richer than when you walked into that room at the beginning. Yeah.
Hey, look at it. I met Jon Harp. At a party, guys. This is how it starts right here. Here we are. Started from the bottom. Now we're here, right? Like we got.
Well, yeah, you met Ryan and Jackie, and then that led to an event that I helped put on with John Kitchens, who's our coach and APA, and that then led to coaching with him and coaching opportunities, which then led to a mastermind, which then led to learning more about Sphere Rocket and VAs. And it's just awesome when you actually take that time to sit down and map all that out.
It's crazy. Not many people could say that. Not many people could sit down and go, "Oh yeah, I can trace my success back to these things."
Yeah.
That's amazing for us, I think. So
yeah. Those that are watching the podcast, you can see Jake's phone number at the bottom of the screen. If you connected with his story, or you just want to pick his brain, whether it's real estate agent to real estate agent, team lead to team lead, or if you're in the northeast, I don't even know. With Jake, if you're in the whole state of Ohio,
basically, we're in Columbus now too. We're expanding. We're going.
Yeah. If you're looking to buy or sell and you need some help with that, make sure you hit up Jake and his team. But Jake, for those that are listening in, what's the best phone number for you?
Yeah. So at the bottom of the screen, 330-858-9404. Best phone number to get a hold of me. I am up 24/7. I do not sleep, and I live on Red Bull. So if you need to get a hold of me, shoot me a text, shoot me a call, leave me a voicemail. You can even email me. My email is super stolen. So it's jakefromexp@gmail.com. Shout out to State Farm. But I am the Jake. Okay, I stole it. So yeah, get a hold of me. I'm totally open to talking, and if you need help with anything, I'm always here.
Him and I'll get with Leo. We need to do. I was just thinking we need to do a whole second podcast. Maybe you and Ryan can jump on. We can talk about the military stuff that you're doing as well.
100%. Yeah, I love it. And short plug, shout out to me. I'm starting a real estate, podcast called the Real Estate Revival. So that's coming up. We're definitely gonna have Jon on it because I wouldn't be here without Jon. So I gotta put him in there. Jon was the first coach. So Jackie and I were my mentor / coaches, but Jon was the first coach that actually ever coached me, quote unquote, outside of Mama Bear. So got to have him on for sure.
Jake, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on today. Let me know, because if I can repay you and for your time and sharing your story, I'm there for it.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been great. I love it.
All right, I'll talk to you here soon.
All right, see you, man.
See ya.